Morning, everyone. I hope you are well. Apologies for the fact that this is going to be rather shorter than normal, but I'm afraid that I have a very hectic schedule today. So I just wanted to share a brief thought, and the thought is relating to Parshas Chukas. This week's Torah portion at the beginning discusses about the red heifer. The red heifer had one aspect to it, which was exceptionally puzzling. It is considered a statute. A statute is something which is a divine ordination, a divine command, which seemingly defies logic. There's no reason to it. So I'll give you an example. There are some mitzvot that we could understand, right? It makes sense to human beings. Don't steal, don't kill, right? Don't commit adultery. These things make sense, right? In order for us to have to coexist and to work and have a society which is well balanced. But when it comes to statutes, there are things which defy human logic. And the unique aspect when it comes to the statute of the paraduma, the red heifer, is not only does it defy logic, but it seems to be paradoxical. Let me explain. What happened was, somebody in the old days, they had what we call ritual impurity. You came into contact with, let's say, for example, a dead person, then you would be ritually impure. You then had to go through a purification process, and having gone through the purification process, then you would become pure once more. So the way that you became pure was through having the ashes of a red heifer, which was exceptionally rare, right? And those ashes are sprinkled on your head, okay? So what was the paradox in the red heifer? The person that sprinkled the ashes of the red heifer on your head to purify you himself at the outset was pure, and the person that was being sprinkled on their head was impure. But after the process, through purifying the impure person, the person that had done the sprinkling became impure, and the person that became pure, that what was impure became pure. So, in other words, the person that was purifying through the process became impure, and this was seen as a paradox. It was seen as something that defied any logic, and even King Solomon, the wisest of men, said that this was something that he could not make head or tails of. He could not understand it. Why would God give us commands that we don't understand? Well, it's a deep conversation, and not necessarily for now, because as I said, I apologize in advance. This is just a snippet. I'm very short on time. But there are a couple of points. Firstly, the obvious thing to say is that God is giving these commands, and therefore we have to recognize that a finite being cannot truly understand an infinite being. There is a limit to everything that is finite, and therefore there comes a point, there comes a line which we are not going to be able to cross, right? We, being physical, being human, are not able to understand the great mysteries of the world, okay? And therefore the statute, which is something paradoxical, something illogical, something defying logic, is something that reminds us of that aspect of creation. And therefore philosophically, in terms of our theology, our outlook to life, it gives us perspective. It helps us understand that in reality there is, that we're not going to understand everything. All the house decided to park outside to do this because I was running late. I parked outside somebody's house that now needs to get out the driveway. Okay, so 1 second. It's just one of those days. Right. Okay. So that's point number one. Number two is, even things that we think that we do understand, the idea of the red heifer reminds us that we don't understand. Okay? So there are things that we cannot understand that are completely beyond our rational logic in our minds, and there are things that perhaps we think we understand and we don't understand. And that in itself is something which is a tremendous lesson for us, in terms of life.
that, we have to recognize our own limitations. We're not going to understand everything when it comes up in our lives. And that should give us strengthen our faith, our belief, and our confidence in what we do in life. That doesn't mean that we don't try to understand, but we have to recognize that sometimes, just sometimes, it's not going to be possible. Wishing everyone a good day. We'll be back for the full-length version tomorrow. Enjoy the wonderful sunshine, the football this afternoon. And of course, amongst other people, we wish Christian Eriksen, a refuah shalema after seeing those shocking scenes after Shabbat last night at the football game. Wishing everyone well. Take care.